What's up, guys? It's your boy Ish from Dinner with Ish. Catch us tonight in the kitchen with Dustin and my homie Marcus Callender.
What's up, y'all?
You don't want to miss it. Let's go. Tonight on Dinner with Ish, we take a trip across the Verrazano to Staten Island, New York. Once known as the Forgotten Borough of NYC, Staten Island is now the home to some of the best slices in the city, the Staten Island Ferry, and of course, the iconic hip-hop group, the Wu-Tang Clan. Join me as we take a moment to connect with the Wu-Tang Saga's very own Marcus Callender over a one-of-a-kind meal created by my homie and culinary vagabond, Chef Dustin Gonzalves. Grab a seat at the table because this is Dinner with Ish. Yo, thank you so much for joining me, having a seat with me at the table.
Absolutely, thanks for having me.
I really appreciate you coming, man. As two Brooklynites with a Brooklyn chef, it's the only way to do it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. But I had to bring you out a little bit further from home.
Yeah.
So you know we in Staten Island right now.
Yeah.
Congratulations on season 2.
Thank you.
Killing it on the Wu-Tang Saga.
Appreciate it.
And it's on Hulu. It's doing really well, captivating audiences all over. How do you feel about that right now?
It feels good, man. It's good to tell this story. I feel like this is a story people have been waiting for a long time. I mean, also too, like with the era that we're in, I feel like we're getting a lot of stories from different hip hop groups.
Right.
You know, say like NWA. Yeah. You know, also, you know, being a fellow New Yorker as well. You know, it definitely feels good to be telling this story, paying homage.
That's awesome. Well, as a West Indian as well,
yes.
You know how we celebrate.
Absolutely.
So I think we always celebrate over food and dinner,
Yeah,
you know, and a whole bunch of music.
Yeah.
So Dustin, what you got for us today, bro?
Well, we're gonna start off with these Jamaican-inspired fresh rolls.
Okay.
They're like spring rolls, but a little healthier version. So it's not fried. It has pickled carrots and purple cabbage in it to give that like that escovitch kind of feel.
Nice.
But before we get into that, I mean, we're Brooklyn, we're West Indian.
Right.
We should get a little drink in us.
Right, absolutely.
I think so. I'm a little thirsty.
We got rum
Thank you.
old fashions.
Okay.
Rugal rum, which is a Dominican rum.
Okay, great.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie.
You got it.
Salud, gentlemen.
Yes. That's delicious.
That's amazing. That's really good. So I know when I first met you, like a lot of people don't know the story. Like people usually think I meet people through like my agents. I meet people through. Oh my God. But you and I met in a bar. In Brooklyn. It was almost serendipitous, right? Like I started the show. I had a few people that you know on the show.
Yeah.
The thing you said to me was like, you know what's funny, man? You know a lot of people that I know. And I looked at you and I said, oh yeah, how? You know, like you talk about these people on cast that on Power. I was on Power. And I looked at you with the most confused face and I said,
you try to pull
I was like, oh really? Where are you?
No idea. What are you talking about?
And then I addressed you as Ray Ray,
Yes.
which was your character on Power.
Right.
And you started like laughing.
Yeah.
You started hysterically laughing.
Yeah.
Because you genuinely thought I didn't know who you were.
I did. I mean, because also too, I mean, that could happen at that bar all the time. And, you know, it's the type of place where you usually end up engaging in conversations with people just like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't know.
But look at us now.
Yeah.
So Dustin, we about to dig into this.
Yeah,
Man. Should we just grab one and
Yeah,
like?
you can grab it. You dip it in. It's a barbecue jerk sauce.
Okay. Are you gonna have one of these ones?
I put 3. You know.
I got way too much cilantro on mine.
Cilantro, I love cilantro. I love cilantro.
So growing up as a West Indian American, or any of these flavors, and as a kid from Brooklyn, any of these flavors like bringing up any memories right now?
Yeah, I mean the spice for sure. You know, I grew up. My mom is Bajan, so every Saturday she used to make kuku, which is the Bajan national dish.
Right.
I hated that shit. I hated it because it got okras in it. It's pretty much just cornmeal and okra, and then you know like the gravy because it's usually made with flying fish,
Right.
which is also the national dish of Barbados. Yeah, every Saturday she made that.
So that was the staple meal.
I hated it though. And I told her, it's like, could you just put chicken in it instead of the okra? Like something else besides okra. She's like, no.
But I do like okra with saltfish though. That's something I always went for. And like that was like a quick meal my grandmother used to come up with. You know, like okra and saltfish, or like corned beef and cabbage with some white rice.
Yeah.
Essentially like your struggle meals.
Right.
So that was something that was always just something like I really enjoyed. Like what was your go-to struggle meal?
I feel like, you know, like rice and peas and chicken and stew, stewed chicken. You know what I mean? Like those are like pretty staple meals in the house. You know what I'm saying? My mom used to make shepherd's pie because a lot of her family's from England, which is their thing. She used to make shepherd's pie a lot. She used to make mac and cheese, but she used to put tomatoes in it. And I hated it at the time. I feel like I would fuck with it now. I feel like now I would fuck with that.
Right.
But at
like
the
a
time,
tomato sauce, or actually like sliced tomato.
No, like pieces of tomato in the mac and cheese. Which
like I'm gonna get them veggies.
You're right, yeah. And I'm like, why you put tomatoes in the mac and cheese? Honestly, I feel like I would probably fuck with that now. Now that I think about it, she don't cook it now. I might have to remind her about that. Remember you put tomatoes in that?
Those spring rolls are amazing.
Amazing.
Thank you.
So good.
Thank you.
I know one of the biggest things that we spoke about when we actually met at the bar was kind of like growing up as a child in Brooklyn, right? So a lot of people have to feel they have to live this facade of being a rapper or an athlete or something along the entertainment line to kind of get out of the hood, And funny thing is, actor and actresses really isn't one of them, or wasn't one of them for us. I know you told me about a teacher, right? There was a teacher that kind of inspired you to start acting.
Yeah.
How did that work?
I mean, you make a good point because thinking about being an actor or something in that nature wasn't anything really thought about.
It wasn't on your radar.
Yeah, not at all. Like when I was coming up, there was a bunch of things I wanted to do. I used to want to be a computer programmer because I like computers so much. But as soon as I started learning calculus, I was like, I can't fuck with that. You know what I mean? It was too much numbers, too much. I just wasn't into it. Then I wanted to be like an audio engineer because I really like music. I looked into that and nothing was like really grabbing me,
captivating you.
Yeah, and then I had a teacher named Ms. Bauman my junior year of high school, and that was around the time where I was still trying to figure out what I was gonna do. Was I gonna go to college, and if I go to college, what am I going to college for? So it was around that time, and the thing about Ms. Bauman was she changed the game a little bit where she knew that, we have all these novels, I guess, to read that were a part of the curriculum that was made by the Board of Education or whatever.
Right.
But she kind of twisted it a little bit where she was like, I'm going to have us read plays instead of these novels. We would read the plays, and sometimes in class she'll ask us to come up and read a scene. Right. So that happened one day, and we were reading The Crucible by Arthur Miller. So I read the scene, and it was an intense scene, but I ended up really connecting to it and doing it. And probably at the time I was just, look how serious I could be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so after the scene, and what?
Go ahead.
After the scene, she's like, yo, you should really do this. You should get into this. I was like, get out of here. I was playing basketball and stuff.
Right.
I was a jock. So
basketball and baseball.
And baseball.
Right.
So I didn't look at it like that. I mean, not that I was the star player. I don't get it twisted. I could play, but no. I wasn't I didn't have real hoop dreams like that.
Right.
But I was athletic.
Yeah.
At the time, she said, hey, they're auditioning for Raisin in the Sun, which is a play by Lorraine Hansberry. They had auditions for it. I auditioned for it, and I ended up getting the lead role.
Wow.
But I didn't expect to get that. You know what I mean? It was just something I did because I liked Ms. Bauman so much, and she told me to do it. I was like,
so this is before Glee was a thing.
This is way before that.
Yeah.
This is way before that.
Wow.
This is way before that.
So fast forward a few months.
Yeah.
You went to SUNY Purchase, right?
Yeah. I was an acting major. I didn't know you can go to school for acting. That was the other thing too. So that's the thing. I did the play, and I was a junior still, so I had another year to go in high school. And for me, that summer I was like, because once I did the play, I caught the acting bug immediately. I was like, I gotta do this all the time. Where else can I do this? So the theater teacher, Miss Reddick, she recommended this Shakespeare workshop that the public theater used to do. I don't know if they still do it. But it was this this Shakespeare workshop that they do with high school kids. She was like, oh, you should sign up for this. I did. Ended up doing it. And, you learn some Shakespeare for a couple of weeks. It was something to do.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how prestigious the public theater was at the time. Actually, one of the guys that I did that with, I'm really good friends with today, and he's doing shit on Broadway and things like that. Wow. It's crazy.
Would you ever venture into Broadway?
I want to do it if it's the right piece. You know what I mean? If it's the, if it's a play, if it's a play that makes sense. We did that workshop, and then I came back, and senior year, so everyone's like, okay, so what college are you trying to apply for? And I was like, I don't know. An administrator from Purchase came to like talk about the school or whatever, and I had just done a Raisin in the Sun. When she came, I think one of my guidance counselors was like, he's an actor. And she was like, oh, well, Purchase has a really good acting program. I said, you can go to school for acting? That's literally what I said. I said, you can go to school for acting? She's like, yeah. But that's an important thing. Like, I didn't know you could even go to school for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, that changed the game for me. For some reason, that felt to me like, oh, the idea clicked that like, oh, you could really study something that you actually love in college. You know what I mean? It didn't. All of a sudden, college didn't seem like this like mandatory. Your life is over if you don't do it type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh shit, say no more. So I applied. I applied for that. I didn't even know about Juilliard. I didn't know about those schools at all.
Right.
So I just applied to college, but like if they had an acting program. Thank God Purchase, has a really great acting program. I applied to a bunch of other schools. I ended up getting into every school I applied to.
No way.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's crazy, right? Like how we've all found our little niches and our talents.
Yeah.
Like I think one of the things with Dustin was he learned how to cook out of necessity.
Right.
Definitely, yeah.
I don't even know what I want to do for the rest of my life. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like we all found
Yeah.
some type of connection through something.
Right.
All right, guys. I know we've been having a lot of fun chopping it up, but let's keep this dinner rolling, all right?
Absolutely.
I think we deserve another round.
Oh my God, more alcohol.
Alright.
Is this more rum?
Yes. But this time it's the Bobbin Port, which is a Haitian rum. With coconut milk that Dustin made and a little ginger and simple syrup.
Great. Cool.
What do you call this?
This is the Baba Coco.
Very nice.
To go with that, we got right here is a dish called metam G. And it's a Guyanese Creole stew made with coconut milk, the same coconut milk that's actually in your drink. But this one is reduced down. It's seasoned with onion, garlic, and thyme. And then all the vegetables that are in it, which is cassava, sweet potato, yams, and plantain. They're all cooked in there and cooked down, and then that coconut reduces and turns it into the sauce.
Right.
And this here is a dish that I created, I've been working on. And this is a Jamaican-inspired oxtail lasagna. So the pasta itself is made out of kidney beans and allspice. And
So wait, is that a rice and peas?
rice and peas pasta. Wow. And in a lasagna, you got your meat, sauce, and ricotta cheese. That's what you got here. You got meat, you got sauce, and you got ricotta cheese. But to tie it all into this rice and peas oxtail dish, you always want some sweet plantain with that. So I took sweet plantains, I steamed them in the coconut milk, and then I whipped it with fresh ricotta.
Nice.
So it's layered with pulled oxtail lasagna.
I'm ready to dive in.
All this shit looks amazing,
Thank you.
and it smells amazing.
Thank you.
But you gotta eat with us, bro. So
I brought my little chef.
we're gonna do a little family style eating right now.
I
We're
love
gonna dig
that.
into a little bit of everything.
I love that.
So I don't know. What do you want to try first, man?
To be honest, I want to try the lasagna.
I know you do. I know you do.
Excellent.
So we'll do a little switchy switch.
Okay.
I think we should all get on the lasagna.
Yeah,
all right.
This lasagna was only in my brain for months.
Wait, is this your first time
This is
making
my
this?
first time actually making this pasta.
Oh.
All right, everyone
Yeah.
get your. Wait, we're going. Oh, Marcus is not waiting.
He's not
What am I
waiting.
waiting for?
On 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh my God. It tastes like
Like I'm eating rice and peas
an oxtail.
and oxtail. It really does taste like that.
But you know what? What separates the taste of rice and peas and oxtail is that ricotta, which makes me feel like I am eating lasagna.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
wait. No, I didn't get a good taste.
Yeah,
I didn't get a
That's excellent. Wow. It's crazy because first of all, lasagna is my favorite dish.
Nice.
I love lasagna. So wow. I feel like I'm eating rice and peas and oxtail right now.
Oh my goodness.
I did my job right.
You did.
I did my job.
You're an evil genius.
This is excellent.
Thank you.
It's very excellent.
It's mind
Very
blowing.
excellent.
When I eat oxtail, I hate doing the.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, like the like sucking on the bone, pause. You know, like I'm getting all the goodness of oxtail. Right.
I've tried to not do this dish exactly, but do a pulled oxtail dish at another Caribbean restaurant in Brooklyn.
Right.
That I started maybe in like 2012. I was the opening chef for it. I created the menu. But they fought me on it. They were saying like, no, people want to suck on the bone. They don't want, that's the part of an oxtail. I'm like, no. People want the meat.
Right.
That's what they want. Right. That's why they doing all that.
Right.
And like, nah. So I'm glad that I'm able to get to the point where I can just do what I want. I don't gotta worry about anyone else telling me what they think I should be doing.
No, and that's what the Caribbean culture is all about, right? Making something from nothing.
Yeah.
So you're really doing that, bro.
What made you want to put it like in a lasagna?
Lasagna.
Yeah.
One of my missions in starting off what I want to be my career as a restaurateur, not only a chef, is to begin by introducing Caribbean flavors with familiar sounding dishes.
Gotcha.
So for people that's never ate Caribbean food, they'll hear lasagna and be like, ooh, I like lasagna.
Right.
That sounds good. And then they eat it and they get our flavors. They get our heart.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So just like spring rolls, or people will say, oh, I like spring rolls. That's going to be a familiar sounding thing. But when you eat it, you'll be like, whoa.
Yeah.
Not what I expected, but I love it.
Lasagna is my favorite dish, but I'm Caribbean, so to combine the two is like, wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
If in editing right now, I would do an instant replay of your face.
Because you were like, it was great. Yeah,
no, it was good.
I love it. That's the reaction I wanted.
I don't know if it's like you guys planned this or if it's like you and Charlie have this like yin yang relationship, but the drink goes with it perfectly.
It does.
Because the drink is very light.
It does.
It has that nice rum taste to it. You feel like you're in the island still.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that's very reminiscent, I guess, of our relationship, because like that balance is there.
It's good to have a little yin and yang balance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's move that to the side a little bit, because I know there's still a little bit more. Marcus is like,
who's
go ahead. Go ahead. Just go ahead.
Somebody
Y'all
cancel
split
that.
half and half.
You gotta tell me. You're gonna take too long trying to get it off the plate.
You know, I'm just taking a little bit of this here gravy. This is what they don't give you in the Jamaican spot.
Nah, bad.
All right, so this is next.
This dish already looks like something familiar to me. So it already looks like home.
Yeah. So like Trinidad is super close to Grenada, and Grenada has like this dish called oil down. This looks a lot like oil down. Oil down is like pigtail and you know, provisions and a whole bunch of like heavy starches just boiled down. And it's just like the flavors in that timing, right?
Yes.
So this looks like very similar to that.
I'm pretty sure it's very similar to this. Like, there's another version of this dish that's drier. It's you cook it in the coconut milk, but you take it away and you don't put it back in, and it's just called provision. You eat that with stewed saltfish.
Right.
But this is like the vegan version.
Shout out to all my vegans.
100% vegan. I mean, it started with coconut oil. It has coconut cream and coconut milk. There's no animal byproducts whatsoever.
You guys spark up. He's like, let's go. Let's do this.
Let me see what
Let's
you're
dig
talking
in.
about.
That's pumpkin right here, right?
No, that's yams. There's yams. There's plantain, cassava, and batata, which is a type of sweet potato, which is actually my favorite sweet potato.
I'm gonna stop living like a caveman real quick and use my
That's delicious, man. This is familiar flavors in my mouth right now.
The sweetness of the yams. You get that savory, and that fresh cilantro. Like, what's that savory taste I'm tasting right now? What's that like? That.
Well, to make the coconut milk a seasoned coconut milk, I put in the Caribbean mirepoix, onion, garlic, and scallion. And I grinded it up, and it has a little bit of those, you know, those seasoning peppers? They're not too spicy, but they're not sweet.
Mentos.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Those are in there. So that's what brings the savoriness, and the sweetness comes from the plantain and from the batata and the yam. Yeah.
We're 2 dishes in. We got the spring rolls. 3 dishes in. Spring rolls, the oxtail, lasagna. What are we calling this again?
Met MG.
Met MG. What's your favorite thus far?
That lasagna. That lasagna is banging.
Thank you.
Banging.
So I know we have one more dish. We have a few more questions coming. Dustin, I know you're working on that right now. While we do that, I'm just gonna chop it up with Mr. Marcus for a little bit more. Cheers, man. I know we were talking a lot about just like the whole ideal of growing up and doing something that we didn't think we could do. For you, acting. For me, this. Fast forward from SUNY Purchase.
Yeah.
Your first audition, what was it for?
My first audition, I was still at Purchase, to be honest. It was the summer after my sophomore year. Like I interned at this little small like talent agency. Because I interned there, like sometimes the agent will like submit me for stuff sometimes. Right. So he submitted me for this Nike commercial. And that was like my first audition ever.
That's how you know the food's good.
Yeah. Let me get it. Hold on. So my first professional audition was this Nike commercial. And I ended up booking it. It was a national commercial. And it was for these like Nike pants or whatever. But yeah, that was my first audition, and I booked it.
Very sophomore college.
I was
you were a paid actor.
Yeah, technically, that's what made me eligible to like join the union, join SAG. That was my first audition. But I would say like out of school, my first audition was for this play called Choir Boy, which was recently on Broadway. Right. Which a friend of mine was in actually, but like this was like the early stages when it was still in development. Okay. So yeah, that was my first audition. My first job out of school was Blue Bloods, that show on CBS. Yeah. My first job.
Wow. Fast forward now, because we haven't brought it up yet. One of your biggest parts to mainstream America was one, your part in Power, Ray Ray. You killed her.
I did.
That's messed up. And also the Wu-Tang Saga. How did you go from being in a Nike commercial to getting these much larger parts? Because even though Ray Ray was short-lived, it was such a impactful character. You changed the whole dynamic of the show. Yeah. You changed the direction of the show. Your character was a fucking asshole.
Right. Yeah.
That shot the wrong person.
You're right. You know,
Tariq should have died.
You
should have shot Tariq.
That's what everybody says. I don't know. How that came about was, well, first when I auditioned for Power initially, I was supposed to just be on one episode. I was supposed to just be on that last episode of season.
As Ray Ray?
As Ray Ray.
Because if my memory serves me right, you initially auditioned for the part of Sean, right? Which was
okay. I mean, technically, yeah. My first audition with Power, I was auditioning for like the pilot of Power, right? First ever when it first started. I was auditioning to play Sean, Amari's character's chauffeur. I was in like final callbacks for that. Cut to a few years later, the show came back, and I was like, okay, I'll audition for it. So I was only supposed to be on that episode, but Courtney was on set while I was filming that day, and she was like, yo, I want to bring you back. I like that you bring it to the role. I want to bring you back. I was like, all right, cool. I didn't think she was going to actually do it because, people say things all the time. And nothing's ever like guaranteed in this business.
Especially in the industry, yeah.
Hell yeah. So like I was like, all right, cool. But nah, she followed up with it, and I definitely came back, and I didn't know that my character was gonna have the arc that it did. Wow. I just knew what episodes I was doing, and that's it. They're very top secret over there about the scripts. Like, you don't know shit until you get to the table. Right. We like to follow our favorite actors and things like that on social media, and we always post about like the job that we got or like before on set. Right. But the truth of the matter is that before those times happen, we're getting a lot of no's before that. Right. You know what I mean? We're going in for a lot of things, and it's just a matter of what sticks.
Did that ever hit you hard to a point where you just felt like, fuck, I don't want to do this anymore?
Man, I've had many of those feelings, man.
So because it's real.
Yeah. Not getting the role of Sean was kind of disappointing. Because I auditioned for that pretty early on out of getting out of school. that was like a big thing. And like, you know, I'm going in, you know, like I had to do a callback with producers and, you know, with Courtney and like Anthony Hemingway did the pilot and he was there. That was like my first like, oh shit. But I did a great job at that callback.
Right.
But, you know, they went in another direction. And I feel like at the time, like early on, not getting the role, I mean, it still sucks. You know what I mean? It doesn't get easier. It doesn't hurt less. Actually, it does hurt less because I feel like at this point now I've gotten to a point where you just really understand how shit works. And sometimes you're right for something and sometimes you're not.
Right.
And you also realize how much you're not in control of it. You know what I mean? What you can help is like showing up to an audition and being prepared.
Right.
That's the only thing you can help. Everything besides that, you can't help.
How can you be prepared? Like what? Like read the script?
Yeah, make sure you're familiar with the material and you know your line. You know, you get the material for the auditions and, you know, your job is to make sure you show up to the audition and give a good audition.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everything else is literally out of your control because, you know, you never know what the producers are thinking, what the directors are thinking, what the writers are thinking. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you're going for something and you go to the audition room and there's all different types of people there. Like a lot of people, like, meaning like everybody doesn't look the same. So clearly they don't know what they want.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So all you could do is do what you do.
Right.
You know?
Do you think race plays a major factor when it comes to like casting certain parts?
Yeah, I mean, I think in film and television, especially they're very specific about if they want a black person or if they want a white person, or if they just want a person of color, period. They're very specific about that. It's always a conscious decision.
Is there ever like a point where you feel like there's a position you wouldn't play as a man of color?
I don't really fuck with like movies that take place during slavery times. To me, I think that narrative is kind of old. We've told that story how many times?
Yeah.
How many every year?
Right.
There's about to be another one that's
Right.
coming out. It's like every year.
Yeah.
Every year.
Yeah.
I'm cool on that.
But that's why I was so moved by that Nat Turner movie. That was different because it showed us fighting back oppression the same way they oppressed us.
Right.
And that's why I was such a fan of that movie.
Right.
It's real. You know, I love that you're very honest about that.
No, I'm very. I mean, I told my peoples about, you know, like they know that that's something that I'm not particularly fond of in terms of storytelling, because I think that matters. Like, what as an actor, as an artist, what stories am I trying to tell? What stories do I want to be represented by? You know, and for me, like, that's not a story I'm interested in. Not that those stories aren't important and that they exist, they do, and they are important.
They are.
But I think that I don't think it's right that it's constantly repeated and it's constantly a reminder. You know what I'm
There's
saying?
so many other stories about
There's so
how
many.
we've
Not only are there
I
so
want
many.
to see the Tyler Perry life story, bro.
But-
like, no, let's be real. Tyler Perry, look what he's doing.
But I feel like we need new stories
Yeah.
or like just other shit. You know what I'm saying? I feel like
That's a
we
fact.
get a lot of this old timey what used to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, what about what's happening now in the future? That's what I consider myself a very contemporary artist. I'm very interested in like stories of today.
Yeah.
Not that I'm, you know, haven't, you know, like Wu-Tang that takes place in the 90s, but that's still, you know, I consider.
But it's a story that wasn't told yet.
Absolutely.
What character did you get where you were just like, you got butterflies in your stomach? You know when like that first time you kissed the girl, or the first time you got the girl that you wanted, you felt like, woo!
Yeah.
You know, the woo!
Right.
Like, what part did that for you?
I would say, so, you know, I trained in the theater. That's how I learned how to act.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's more roles on stage that would give me that feeling more than on TV or in a movie.
Yeah.
I did a play called Piano Lesson by August Wilson. I played Boy Willie in that, and that was like a big role that like really got my juices going. You know.
That's what's up.
There's a play called Zoom In and the Sign by Charles Fuller. It's the same guy that wrote a Soldier's Play.
Yeah.
That play is like still like one of my dream roles. The character of Zoom In is my dream role.
One of the people you actually idolize, one of the actors that you actually look up to, who would it be?
Oh man, Denzel Washington is my favorite actor. Straight up.
You kind of have a lot of like similarities with him.
Really?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow.
Like even when like you act, or like when you talk like normal, it's like you got that like, you know, like, you know, King Kong, King Kong, shit. You got that extra like
Denzel's great, man. Like growing up, I watched a lot of Denzel movies. He just always had it for me.
Yeah.
He just always did it. I like Alfred Woodard a lot. He's another favorite actor of mine.
I'm a big Johnny Depp fan.
Okay.
Well, Marcus, yo, I don't want to take up too much of your time, man. I know you have to run back to Brooklyn. I got you out here in Staten Island.
Real.
I'm just so humbled to have you on my show.
Look, when we were filming, I was out here all the time, so it's all good. It's just been a minute.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
You got season 2 coming up, so.
Yes, sir.
That's dope. Well, kudos to you, man. There needs to be like more people in the world like you that actually give a damn and kind of give back.
Yeah. No, it's important.
And I know you were recently celebrating a birthday.
Yes, sir.
So I think Dustin is whipping up a little dessert.
Oh, okay.
Got a little something.
Welcome back, Dustin.
All right.
I missed
Wow. Look
you.
at that.
Happy birthday.
Appreciate it. Ooh, that looks really good.
That looks amazing. Now, first of all,
Okay.
you gotta make a wish,
Okay.
and then Dustin's gonna tell us what we got.
Yes.
Got you.
Take your time.
What we about
What
to
we
dive
got
in?
here?
Alright, so here we have another vegan treat.
Okay.
So it's a banana-based ice cream, and it's frozen bananas blended with soursop. Taste of the Caribbean.
Gotcha.
So a little soursop syrup drizzled on it. And remember that coconut milk
Right.
from the MetMG?
Mm-hmm.
So when I made that coconut milk, I squeezed out the coconut out of it, and then I toasted the coconut. So that's a garnish on this dish.
Oh my God.
And this is a rum raisin, and the rum is a Guyanese high wine.
Shall we?
Yes.
So there's also cashews for a little crunch. So I'm gonna take over this round Montenegro Amaro.
Okay.
I'm gonna bless it up. So this kind of like gets your juices flowing again after you had a good meal and you want to now start drinking. You know what I mean? Cheers.
Salud, guys. Cheers.
Thank you.
So last thing, I'm gonna take one more scoop of this. So good. Go for it. Last thing I'm gonna ask you, while you're chewing that and it's all delicious and amazing, look at the camera, your camera, and you could say something to the young you. What would you say right now?
You got more power than you think.
Ooh, I love it.
So,
I love that.
I think we would make the younger us proud. And I'm happy to have both of you
Absolutely.
guys. Gentlemen, let's fill up these glasses one more time.
Yes,
And we're gonna take a cheers.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you guys so much. So we're gonna do a shot toast.
I like that.
Let's do it.
Dinner with Ish.
Dinner with Ish.
Dinner with Ish.
Ooh.